Over the last year and a half of my life, I've tried 102 productivity tactics ranging from simple strategies like the Pomodoro technique to the dual mode execution framework and hyper advanced strategies such as that. And in this video, I'm going to be recommending the top 3 strategies that generally work for me and actually made me productive. Hello, I'm Dylan, I'm 18 and I coach unproductive people to turn productive, as I personally went on a journey myself, spending 5,000 hours or 210 days straight playing Call of Duty and other such video games, but now I effortlessly and easily reshoot large banks of my work for my business, education and personal development goals because of the tactical techniques that I learned from all of these strategies I attempted to use. I spent 1.5 years testing all of these strategies and really figuring out which one was working for me and which one you should use in your productivity system to actually make progress towards the goals you want to complete in 2025. Just before we get into the video, if you're looking to get my exact productivity strategy that helped me make progress towards my business goals, the top link in the description will take you to the productivity package that will change your life. It includes a free physical planner, lots of templates, trackers and tools for you in your productive journey, and my personal phone number so I can hold your hand daily through the trials and tribulations of productivity. Let's get into it. So first in this video, we have chronological intensity planning, or also known as snowballing. So as you stand on the hill on a winter's day, chilly, freezing, holding a ball of snow, when you roll it down the hill, as it reaches the bottom, it's collected all the snow on the floor until it's a large mass of snow. And productivity works in the exact same way. It's stackable. The more you roll, the more momentum you gain. It clumps together and accumulates until you have a large amount of momentum, dopamine, and inertia towards completing the tasks that you need to get done during the day. So chronological intensity planning is counter norm to usual productivity advice. People say eat the frog. People say jump straight in, do the hardest task first, get out of the way. However, I found this has been more useful for me in my productivity journey as you're going through the ranks of productivity, as you're slowly, incrementally, progressively overloading and building up this skill of being disciplined and driven to complete the task you set yourself. This is a really useful strategy to use. So how it works is, instead of setting yourself super hard tasks to start with, you slowly, incrementally build up chronologically through your to-do list, starting with easy tasks. So I always recommend to the people I coach and to people and to my clients that you start with 4 tasks on your to-do list. Making your bed, cleaning your desk, having a cold shower, and opening the resources that you need for your work. And just those 4 micro tasks that don't take a lot of effort and don't have a lot of friction between you and the completion of those tasks are going to build momentum. They're going to stack dopamine. When you write down, I'm going to make my bed, you make your bed, you take it off, dopamine's released. You do the same with your desk, dopamine's released. You have a cold shower, which naturally is going to release dopamine into your system, which is the motivation hormone to get you dialed in to make a success of the day. And you have your tasks open. That final task is super important because not only is it releasing dopamine, it's making it clear on what you need to use during the day, removing friction between you and the work because you don't have to locate the resources that you need in the task you've set yourself. 4 simple tasks, chronological intensity planning, easy first, build up to the hard tasks, and you'll find it easier to complete them because you already have this flow of motivation, this flow of dopamine, this flow of inertia to dominate the tasks you've set yourself. Start easy, go hard. When you join the gym, you don't immediately go in and bench 100 kilos. No, you build up slowly, incrementally until you get to that strength level. So that's the first tactic of the 100 strategies I've used over the last 1.5 years to turn productive that's seriously helped me. The next strategy I'm going to teach you is called the Zeigarnik effect, and it's used by writers and authors across the world to not lose progress. So you're writing a book. As you're about to go to bed, you finish the work for the day. Rather than finishing the sentence with a full stop or a closed sentence, you leave it open so the next day when you go into the work, you remember the context, you remember where you were, what you were writing about, and you can continue the flow of the writing much easier. It's to do with the open and closed loop system of the brain. So the brain works in open and closed loops. When you're working on a task, it's at the forefront of your mind in the conscious part of your brain until you complete the task, tick it off the to-do list, it gets ricocheted into the subconscious as metabolic waste. So to keep it primed, to keep it forefront in your brain, so when you sleep, when you rest, when you have lunch, immediately after you can get back into the work, it's by purposely postponing completion. And this can be done easily using a to-do list. So you set yourself tasks for the day, you write them down, whether that's in the high quality, scientifically backed physical planner that I've created for you, or just on a scrap piece of paper. As you write it down and you write a list of what you need to get done, as soon as you enter the list and you tick off the first task because you've been productive and you've completed it, your brain wants to continue the list until it's closed off. So as you tick the final box of the tasks you've set yourself for the day, so you've completed the to-do list, your brain loves it. Your brain wants to close the loop. So as you write down what you need to get done, you're opening the loop. When you tick off that final box, the loop is closed. So during the day, if you do not write down what you're going to get done, you're less likely to complete it because the loop is already closed. There's no present loop open. Whereas if you write it down, you make it clear to your brain, the loop starts here and it's not been closed until this task is completed, you'll find it much easier to complete the task you set yourself because you're utilizing the Zeigarnik effect of open loops and closed loops in the brain. This is really useful because not only are the tasks you need to get done efficiently and effectively at the forefront of your conscious brain, you're also going to have a motivation to close the loop because that's really what the brain wants to do day to day. It wants to open loops and close them efficiently and effectively. So as you write down the tasks you need to get done and you quantify the closure of the loop, your brain is going to be working on maximum overdrive to get it done in an optimal manner. And finally, we have friction management. Over the course of the 1.5 years, I've been studying productivity and implementing different strategies into my own productivity system. I found friction management to be one of the key factors to look at. So friction essentially is just the barrier of entry between you and the work. So if me or you wanted to start a McDonald's franchise up, it's a nice idea, but we don't have £75,000 in capital expenditure to start up the franchise. So the friction, the barrier of entry between us and starting a McDonald's is money. And when people are procrastinating, when people are struggling with productivity and they're in these ruts of unproductivity and low motivation, it's because the barrier of entry between them and the work is either not clear or too high for entry. So the method to manage this friction, to eliminate it from you and the work, is to either organize or remove. So by organization, I mean, if you're going to write a 1,000 word essay, but you can't find the document you need to write it on, the friction between you and completing that essay you need to get done is locating the file. So by keeping your desktop organized, by keeping your desk organized with the files you need to complete on a day-to-day basis, you're lowering the barrier of entry and lowering that friction and managing the friction. Whereas removal of friction can be decision fatigue management. So if you want to get into the gym, you want to consistently get into the gym, start setting the gym clothes out the night before, because now the barrier of entry between you and going to the gym is not the clothes. You've removed that layer of friction. Maybe it's getting to the gym. Now you buy some dumbbells, you put them under your beds, now you have the gym clothes set out and you have a personal gym in your own bedroom. So you've removed that layer of friction until you build up the momentum to go to an actual gym. Or whether it's the work you're completing. And so maybe you struggle to type and the barrier of entry between you and doing the work for your business is typing because you hate to type, it's boring. Maybe you set out your phone, you do videos, you record the voice and transcribe it into what you need to write down, and that's the friction management, that's the friction removed between you and the work, because now it's easier to get it done. And this is why it's so important, this is why it was so useful for me, and friction management is so useful and can be useful for you. It's because it's the core of productivity. If it's easier to do the work, you're more likely to do it, and you're more likely to do it over a consistent, long period of time, which then is going to bring you to the success you desire. So friction management, top tier, one of the best strategies I've learned out of the 100 strategies I personally used over the past 1.5 years. Of course, if you're looking to get my exact productivity strategy and get access to my exclusive high-quality physical planner with a scientifically backed interior, then the top link in the description will take you to the productivity package that will change your life. I will hold your hand daily via messages. You'll have weekly coaching calls, and I'll generally bring you to productivity and the light of beating procrastination. If you're on the battle to becoming productive and eliminating procrastination for your life, that package should be in your arsenal of productivity. Thank you very much for watching.